and gentlemen, welcome your faces to another video on the channel, and I must say, in this format, I feel more at home. We've had a lot of playthroughs recently, but today, I bring you an analysed video for the Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 trailer. Fresh off the drops, we're about an hour after the trailer dropped initially. I've already uploaded my reaction to that, so we're literally coming in right after that. So before we get into this video, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I didn't ask you to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy this type of content, and make sure you get notified when I upload my next Poppy Playtime theory, because believe me, after today's video you're gonna know why there are a good few theories to come. So anyway, just a reminder to check the trailer out for yourself and all my past Poppy Playtime content so you can be fully prepared for this video. Today, we're going to analyse every frame of this video to see if we can pull any story information or gameplay mechanic. And with that being said, kick back, grab a drink or a snack, and let's get into this analysed video. So, first things first, let's talk about the actual video first, as there are some very interesting bits of evidence that hints towards the characters that we might see in Chapter 2. So what am I even talking about? Well, I have an extension on Google Chrome that allows me to see the tags of the video, and you don't necessarily need the extension on Google Chrome, it's easy to do it. And in this trailer, the tags on the Mob Games channel are Poppy Playtime, Horror, Game, Huggy Wuggy, Mommy, and Mommy Longlegs, Chapter 2 and Toy. Now these tags are not there by accident. They have to be inputted by someone who controls the Mob Games channel. And the interesting part of these tags are the Mommy Longlegs and Huggy Wuggy. This is an important bit of news or evidence because it's basically confirmation that those are the characters that are hinted and going to be shown to us within Chapter 2. And it coincides well with what we see later on in the chapter, and the big reveal that was Mommy Longlegs at the end, and the hint of seeing Huggy Wuggy again, which brings me nicely to my first point of the trailer. Seeing the toy Huggy Wuggy at the start and how Mummy's long leg, or arm, reached down to him and grabbed him. Now, this is the same sort of scene that was hinted with the teaser image announcing the trailer, but let's take it one step further. What if this could be an indication of how she rescued Huggy Wuggy at the end of Chapter 1? From what we can see so far, we can assume that Mommy Longlegs is very good at getting around, and perhaps she's collected Huggy Wuggy when he fell to what we could have assumed was his death, just like she does at the start of the trailer. Perhaps in some odd way, but like we'll talk about a little bit later, perhaps Mommy Longlegs is responsible maybe for Huggy Wuggy returning. Now, how and why would be a little bit difficult at the moment, but it doesn't stop us, because you know us, we like to do some theories, so expect me to cover that in another video coming up. Anyway, the other point that I had is the first few frames of the trailer is that there are no similarities apart from the floor that is shared with the teaser image to what we see now. We can also see how she sort of behaves when she's approaching her prey or taking them, for instance. From what we can see, she slowly approaches the Huggy Wuggy toy and snaps him away rather quickly. Is this an indication of what is to come for us? After this, we get the audio dialogue from Poppy, and she says, "Terrible things have happened." Interestingly, the way that Poppy speaks here suggests that she's actually informing us of what's been going on. Again, an indication that perhaps Poppy could be a potential ally. Then, following this, it cuts back to show us the train on the tracks, rather similar to the train that we see at the start of the Chapter 1. Above the train is a clock that looks to be a clock with Roman numerals and the clock numbers. Something to note about this is the fact that the clock is actually upside down, which goes well with what I say in the next detail, because there are spider-like webs around the level. While they're not like traditional webs, they do appear to be cables, and this could be for Mommy Longlegs and how she gets around the level. And to return back to the clock detail, this is why I think the clock is upside down, because I believe that this clock is intentionally for Mommy Longlegs. A small detail also is that, assuming the clock works, it appears to be 3 o'clock on the dot. After this scene, we overhear Poppy again saying,
"Where do I even begin?"
Again, an indication that she is sharing information rather than withholding it from us. Then we are shown another corridor, which looks like a variation of what we see in Chapter 1, but with this one, we need a red hand to open it. While this is being shown, Poppy speaks again, saying,
You are perfect.
I think this suggests that we might be able to handle whatever's going on or going to come our way and help aid the people in the factory or the toys. And Poppy, perhaps this is an indication of us being the perfect experiment, the experiment that will bring some kind of answer to these problems in the factory. In the next clip, we see the player with one blue hand approaching a green hand on a conveyor belt. And in this area looks to be some sort of tutorial room for this hand in particular. We did theorize before that the hand and the colors they represent were hinted at some type of different ability, and perhaps this is what each of the experiment left behind. And interestingly, we can see that besides the hand there seems to be some sort of switch or trigger that matches the color of this hand. From what I can guess so far, I do believe that the green hand is going to be made of different materials and will have the ability to carry an electrical charge, as we'll see later. In the next scene, we get to see a room full of what looks like TVs or monitors and a platform to get to it, but it does look like as if it's broken or blocked off. Wow, just lack of platform. After this, the next clip shows us to be using the player's left hand, and this time the hand is yellow, which looks to confirm our suspicions more, as it looks like the yellow hand is going to be used as a type of grappling rope. Again, perhaps another indication of the experiments that came before us. And as this scene plays, Poppy talks once more, and this time saying, "You're too perfect to lose." And this confirms to me even more now that we're working with Poppy, but maybe in the best case of a worst scenario type deal. Not necessarily good, not necessarily we have a choice, but it is what it is, and we progress with it. After this, the next clip gives us a full layout of the starting clip. It's here that we can really grasp how much of an issue Mommy Longlegs is going to be, and how she even fills the whole corridor with just her arm. And there is not a body to be seen, which is quite worrying. So I think it's safe to say we are going to have nowhere to hide in Chapter 2. And after this, we get to see the green hand in action. Like I theorized earlier, we actually get to see a very brief representation of how it will work in-game. It looks as if we have to charge the hand on a green station and then take it to an object that will accept this input. An interesting thought here would be, once the object is charged, does that actually deplete the original charge station? Or could we use it more than once? After this scene, we get a closer look at the room that was hinted at earlier, but this time we get to see it in action and what happens. It looks as if the player has to solve a little colour puzzle. Something to note is that with the monitors, they're displaying a disturbing type sort of imagery, or better, lack of display. It looks as if the monitors themselves have been ruined and or scratched off, or the cameras in the locations have been scratched instead. After this, the player looks up and we get to see another hint of another enemy character, which looks to be a type of flower, and if I was to guess, perhaps a sunflower. Ironic really. How odd must it be for the sunflower to thrive in such a dark place? After that, we see another hint of the storage room and some other toys, some that we've never seen before, and again, we get to see the toy version of the supposed flower that we just saw, not to mention a few that we can't make out because of the defocus effect and the motion blur. But one other toy looks to be like a green sort of bunny, but that's up in the air at the moment. After this, we get a great little clip where the camera follows the arm of Mommy Longlegs, and we get a hint of where she takes the toy Huggy Wuggy, and as this happens, we get another line from Poppy where she says she's watching your every move. And while this happens, we see the player running from a purple creature, but due to the lighting and the motion blur, I can't make it out. But if I was to theorize, I think that it would be some type of caterpillar maybe, or something like that. Perhaps something like Charlie the Caterpillar. But the next scene is where we can start to piece everything together, and knowing this, I am actually terrified. In the next clip, we see a set of small Huggy Wuggies that are in the pursuit of the player, and it looks as if it's begun in the vents. In the vents, we do see a yellow, blue, and red Huggy Wuggy, and not only one of each, there are actually multiple, which you see a little bit later in the clip where they rotate the camera a little bit more. But this does now explain why Mommy Longlegs wants these toys, and it explains her behavior. Interestingly, this is a whole rabbit hole I'm going to go down to, so I'm going to make another theory video with that topic in mind, but again, subscribe if you want to be notified for when that goes up. But my first guess would be that Mommy Longlegs is an actual creator of these little guys and gals. And at the same time, Poppy throws another bit of dialogue preparing us for the meeting with Mommy Longlegs, and she says, "So you better be careful." After this, we can see the player running into an underground area with the green hand ready charged. And another cool little thing, we get to see the yellow hand being used as, again, a grappling rope in a swing. The next scene shows us another angle of the toy Huggy Wuggy being pulled again, and with this, another line from Poppy, and she says, "Mummy doesn't like guests." The same line that we heard in the first teaser. Quite a nice callback. And then the scene fades to dark, and we hear the line, "A new playmate." And out of the darkness comes Mummy Longlegs. And as she approaches, it's almost as if her feet are magnetic because of the way they snap to the metal walls and pipes. And that's quite interesting because we know that she gets around, especially in the train scene teaser bit. We know she gets around with those cables, and those cables aren't just rope and whatnot. They look to be proper metal plated cables. But again, we might have to dig a little bit more into that. And of course, as she gets closer, she says the line, "It's been so long," indicating that she hasn't had an experiment like us reach her level in a long time. And she's excited to play with us. So if you have arachnophobia, I've got some bad news for you. What's odd about this is that she still looks as if she's a brand new toy straight out the packaging. She has retained all of her shiny materials and whatnot, not got damage on her. But that's quite interesting, and again, something we might explore in a future video. And there is the end of the trailer, and of course we get the logo for chapter 2, and that's that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this video. I would thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to drop a like if you like the video, and if you've got something you want to say or some type of theory you want to see or your own theory, make sure to post a comment in below so we can all see it. And another reminder that if you enjoy the Poppy Playtime content, theories, everything that goes with it, make sure you hit subscribe because we are going to be covering quite a good chunk of it in the next coming days. I've already got like about 4 theory ideas that I want to do. So, but with that being said, make sure you hit subscribe and do the bow. But with that, I would like to wish you a lovely day, morning or night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next theory video.